The Cost to Raise Someone's Child, Part 3. The Cost to Raise Someone's Child, Part 3. What's up, everybody? My name is Kier, and you are watching The Important Things That Really Matter. Today, we're going to be talking about the cost to raise someone's child, Part 3. This is a very, very important subject for you to know about. Very important. You need to go back and look at part 1, and you need to go back and look at part 2 so that you have the abilities and the skills to be able to determine how much money it is going to cost you to raise another person's child that's not even yours. Okay? Now, we're going to get into part 3, and you want to go back and look at parts 1 and parts 2, but also share those and share this video also too, because this video right here is going to be mainly talking about how you can possibly get stuck with child support for a child that's not even yours and doesn't even have 1 ounce of DNA of your DNA in that child. Okay? Very, very important. Now, let me talk about fair use. And you want to share this video with as many men as possible. And you need to be extremely careful, because if you spend too much time with a woman's child or children, you might be forced to pay child support for the child that you're just trying to help out. That woman may go to court and say, well, this person here is a father figure to my child. And even though the father of the child is still living, he's the father figure, and he should pay child support. I am not making this stuff up. Fair use. There was a woman. Guy sitting up here trying to help the woman out. Woman is like, hey, could you watch my child for me? Could you babysit my child for me? So the guy's like, okay, I'll babysit your child, no problem. I know you're having difficulties and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and babysit your child for you. So this guy goes ahead, babysits her child. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, it may have been only 1. Guy goes to babysit the child. Next thing you know, this woman tries to take this man to court for child support. Now, this man is not sleeping with the woman. The man is not intimate in any way, shape, form, or fashion with this woman at all, in any way, shape, form, fashion. Matter of fact, this guy is just trying to be a nice guy and babysit for this woman while she's going to work. This woman goes to court, petitions the court to put the babysitter, the male babysitter, on child support. Did you hear what I said? This woman is trying to put her male babysitter on child support for watching her kids, and this guy is trying to help her. So this is what you need to watch out for if you are a man. You may not want to spend much time with the woman's kids that you're seeing, which goes back to what some men say. Some men just say, just don't even date a woman that's got kids. I'm not telling you to do that. I'll let you make that determination on your own. You need to go back and listen to The Cost to Raise Someone's Child, Part 1, The Cost to Raise Someone's Child, Part 2, and this is Part 3. And after you looked at all 3 of these videos, you need to sit down and determine for yourself, is it in the best of your interest to date a person with 1 child, or to date a person with 2 children, or to date somebody that don't have no children at all, period. Part 1 of the video series shows you how to estimate your costs to be able to raise that child up to 18. Part 2 talks about how the cost grows exponentially once the child turns 18 and after 18. Part 3, what we're talking about right now, that you want to share with other people along with the other 2 videos I'm talking about too. Part 3 is talking about how you might help another woman and she might try to stick you with child support even when the father of the child is still alive. You have to be careful if you're helping a child with their homework, somebody else's child with their homework. You got to make sure you don't do that too often. You for sure got to make sure she don't be taking no pictures. You know, you start noticing while you helping one or more of her children with her help with their homework, and she come in and start taking pictures. She might go to the court and say, "See, Your Honor, he's a father figure to my kids. They call him daddy. And here's pictures of him helping them with their homework." I think you ought to make him pay child support for my 2 children from 2 other guys. Yeah, 2 other guys. I think he should pay, not these other guys over here. I think this guy over here should pay for both of my children by 2 of these other guys over here. Yeah, one is in prison, okay? The other one, hey, sometimes he works, sometimes he don't work. So this is a very, very real and a very, very important subject. And men, you have to be extremely careful that if you marry a woman, don't adopt the woman's child, especially if the father of the child is still alive. I don't care if the father is alive and in prison. You should not adopt somebody else's child, even if you are married to him. The father's alive. The father of the child is alive. If he wants to adopt them, why do you want to take away his parental rights? And you pick him up, so now she's going to hit you up for child support if you adopt a child. There was a particular situation where there was a husband and a wife. The husband and the wife were about to get divorced. And you can pretty much imagine who wanted to leave the marriage. The wife. Probably so that she can be in the street with her girlfriends and have fun. So this particular woman wanted to divorce her husband, who was a good man and a good provider. But before she left, she wanted him to pay child support for the child that she had by another man. Hello? His wife, which will be soon his ex-wife, wanted the husband, which is going to be soon the ex-husband, to pay child support for a child that did not have 1 drop of DNA from this man. This child's father is still alive. But the mother wants the husband to pay for the child that's not even his. You have to be careful. There was a situation where a celebrity wanted her husband, her new husband, to adopt her child. It's either 1 or 2 children. Well, if the man adopts the child, even though the father is still around, if he adopts the child, who do you think they're going to come after for child support? The father of the child or this man who signed the adoption papers to adopt the child? Who do you think they're going to come after for child support? They're going to come after the guy who signed the adoption papers to adopt this child, even though the birth father is still around. So these are things that you need to be careful of, because it can end up costing you $400,000 to raise this child up to 18, and the child is not even your child. If you sign those adoption papers, or if you spend too much time with 1 or 2 of a particular woman's children, you spend too much time. Now, I almost found myself in a situation like that. There was a woman that I was thinking about marrying. As I was thinking about possibly marrying this woman, one day, probably about 6 to 8 months, probably about 6 months into the relationship, woman asked me, "Hey, I want you to pick my daughter up from high school." "You want me to pick your daughter up from high school?" I kind of felt unusual when she said that. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, the woman that I was seeing at the particular point in time had 2 kids. They were both teenagers. Would I do that again now? I wouldn't plan to. Now, the way I am right now, I wouldn't want to date a woman that's got 2 children because of the cost associated with that. Maybe 1 child, and I don't even really want to deal with 1 child, a woman with 1 child, because now you got to deal with the baby daddy. You got to deal with problems with that. You're not going to be able to say anything to the baby. You're not going to be able to say anything to the children. If you say anything to the children, it could be some problems with her, or it could be some problems with the baby daddy. And now you got another man that you might end up having to fight because you said something to the kids that's in your house that you are feeding with your paycheck. This why it's like you got all these complexities, and I want to talk in parts 1, 2, and 3 about how you can end up falling into a trap if you adopt somebody else's child and the child's father's still alive, and the child's father might not even care that you adopt a child because he'll be possibly off the hook for paying child support if you adopt a child. Or if you spend too much time with one or more of this woman's children. You spend too much time with one or more of this woman's children, she can say they call you daddy. They might be calling you daddy. Don't let no other child call you daddy if you're not their daddy. You follow what I'm saying? Because you could possibly be set up to have to pay child support to a child that does not have not 1 drop of your DNA in them. So please share this with as many men as possible. Please go back and watch part 1, part 2, and of course this is part 3. Share those to your friends, especially to the male friends, especially this video right here. All the other videos, all 3 of these videos show you to how to go about having a good idea as to how much it's going to cost you to raise someone else's child. All right, so this channel is growing, so please subscribe. This channel is trying to grow, so please subscribe, please like, please share, please subscribe, and peace.